Welcome back to Can We Be Friends, the podcast that feels like those intimate chats you have with your nail tech, or your barber, or even your dog. You know the ones. If you are new here, my name is WALTA. I'm an up-and-coming music artist, and I also am a nail tech, which means I get to meet new people every day in the salon who share a level of intimacy and openness I struggle to find in the music industry. And so in an attempt to find some realness, I created this podcast, an open forum for artists to chat human to human, so you can get an insight into the lives of an artist while I bedazzle the shit out of their nails. Today I am sitting in my hotel room in LA recording this intro. I've had the best trip so far, returning home in a week, but I thought I would introduce my next guests. They are a group of classically trained jazz musicians who are making club-ready dance music. They're a genre-defying girl band who formed over the realization that they were the only jazz students in their school who didn't listen to jazz music in their free time. With over 300,000 streams on Spotify alone, appearances at festivals such as Falls Festival, BIGSOUND and Splendor in the Grass, and the support from Apple Music announcing them as their next up artist, this all-female group have me sitting on the edge of my seat hooked with what they have been releasing. With a new nail polish merch collection in collaboration with Ice Cream Nails, it was all too fitting to not have them on the podcast today. So please welcome Pink Matter.
Let's go. Yeah. We are doing the coolest little collab situation because Pink Matter have a collaboration with Ice Cream Nails. We've got Black Lagoon.
That's the Oppenheimer.
Which I think is well, you guys tell me, what is this? Black.
It's like the blackest black they have.
Wow. Mm-hmm. We're going dark with that one.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a shimmer to that one.
In the black. Wow.
I know.
We have Lunar Rainbow, which I'm actually obsessed with. It's one of those ones where you could just stare at it
forever
and be entertained.
Cool. When you move it in the light, it's rainbow.
It's like iridescent.
So cool, yeah.
Amazing. And then we've got Caution. Everyone beware. They've got like a fluoro. Well, is it fluoro? It's like bold pink. And it's very fitting.
Very Barbie coded.
Very Barbie.
Everyone, if you want Barbie nails to go to the premiere, no.
You look good this summer.
This is the in trend. Pink is the new black. But black is also
it's still around.
The thing with a little shimmer in it. So today we're actually going to be doing nails using the new colors. And there's also this really cool iridescent packaging.
So
yeah, we had to do it to them.
In your little bag.
Put it in your bag. This is so cute and I'm obsessed with it. And I'm going to tell my Ice Cream Nails story really quickly because it matters.
Wow. It's so
What's your story, Chloe?
It matters.
Okay, my story is that before I was a nail tech, I was 18 going on my first holiday to Melbourne with my boyfriend. And Ice Cream Nails used to have a little pop-up store where they did nail art. And I went, I got my nails done. I got a full design on I got a unicorn on one nail, pastel rainbow.
Yeah.
And I was like, I love nails. They're so fun. And then it kind of inspired my venture into being a nail tech. So this is like a little full circle moment.
So cool.
On the podcast with the collaboration with Ice Cream Nails. This is so cool. Anyway, let's talk about the new, do you call it an album or an EP?
We've been calling it a mixtape.
A mixtape.
The idea for this was mainly because we had so many people on the mixtape. We just had we had a producer for every single song.
I noticed this.
But but it is like full length, so it's album length, but we are just calling it a mixtape.
Yeah. I'm obsessed with that. It's called Gloss, which ties in with our little glossy situation here. We're going to get started on this. Run me through how yous met, how it started.
I think we played our first show. This is an unofficial show. It was Kerry's dad's birthday at the very end of 2016.
Throw it right back.
Yeah, the first official Pink Matter
and
show.
then our first official show playing original music, not covers, would have been Briz Babes at the very start of 2017 at the Foundry, Rip the Foundry.
Wow.
So we were a 4-piece. And we met at jazz school.
We're all big nerds.
Big jazz nerds.
Big nerds.
I noticed this because
You noticed that we're nerds?
no, I noticed that you're big nerds. The
Yeah.
minute you walked in, I was like, nerds. No,
I was refraining from saying it.
and you said it, so I just was like, I noticed it. I did.
It's my
No,
chance.
when I first started like fully hearing your music, it was the newer style into that dance. So then when I've gone back and listened to like the OG stuff, I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, this is like really jazz.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, I didn't know like
lore
they were so jazzy. And I was
So
like
jazzy.
actually going to ask about how that, but then you all
We're all
you
doing a
met.
jazz degree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did the little like introductory certificate course before you do the bachelor.
Yeah.
Where at?
You tried, but you didn't quite make it into the con.
Oh, nice try. Try again in 6 months.
Try again in 6 months. And so
Yeah.
we had to just do lots of theory for 6 months, basically.
Okay.
There was like a subject where you could create a group and like become a band and get credit for it, basically.
Right.
Yeah, so then, so me and Kerry were in a band. We won't say the name of it. It was very bad.
I liked it.
Wait, is the music still out or something?
No.
Will people recognize?
No.
recorded
We
it.
didn't even release.
We did a few
or-
gigs and
Yeah.
that was kind of it. And then she was like, "Yeah, I'm not vibing this. Let's get a band of girls together."
Hell yeah.
So Megan and I actually weren't in your guys' year.
No.
But
Showing our
Megan Megan was studying jazz keys and I was actually there for jazz voice. And so Megan, it wasn't compulsory for her to be in this choir. She just wanted to be in the choir, but for Kerry and I, it was compulsory. And then there was like a late night rehearsal for some reason. I don't remember why. And you were like, oh, I'll just walk back to my brother's house in Wollongabba. I was like, it's 9 p.m. Absolutely. No, you won't. So I dropped you home and then I was listening to like Frank Ocean in the car and a lot of people who...
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I remember that.
A lot of people who study jazz are like really into jazz. And so like you'll get a lift from somebody and it'll just be like straight jazz playing in the car.
Okay, I see.
And so
Yeah.
then we just bonded because we were both into like
You're not listening
normal
to Thelonious
music.
Monk. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. And then I was playing bass in like a rock band on the Gold Coast and it was very much like root note fifth if I was feeling a bit spicy. I was really not very good back then, but Kerry like messaged me and she was like, oh, I really want to start this girl band and like I saw this picture of you playing bass in Wolves and like
it
do you
was-
want to come to a rehearsal?
I was like, oh, I really want to have this girl group. Like the other band wasn't so fun. And then you were like, well, I'll play bass if you want. And I was like, I've got you now. I've got you.
Was it 1 down, 2 to go?
So
Yeah, but then I think I messaged you and was like, I can see you clearly play bass.
Yeah, so like you weren't thinking bass is going to be like a core thing in my...
Honestly, I am so mad that I didn't find it earlier because like my whole life I've been a performer, but I always say like I'm a good player, but I'm not a good performer. Like I don't really like being the person that everybody looks at.
Oh my God.
But
Okay.
bass, it's like you get everything that you like out of music and like the creative process and the songwriting, but like on stage, nobody's looking at you.
Not really.
And it's
they can
sick.
hear you.
So you enjoy that. You're like, I've got the best of both worlds right now.
Yeah, it's perfect. And so like the first few Pink Matter rehearsals, it was quite obvious that I was like a little bit behind in terms of skill level and confidence because everybody else was studying at a tertiary level on their instrument.
Okay.
And I was just like self-taught, trying my best to vibe.
Yeah.
And so
And it was a big vibe.
It was
Right?
a big vibe.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're
And
an
I think-
insanely fast learner.
Oh, thank you. I worked very hard. But like I would just, because of the sort of harmonic ideas that Megan would have on keys back in the day, there was like a lot of room for me to just like play whatever. And because I'm coming from more of like a singer's background, like the bass lines that I was writing aren't regular bassist bass lines. And so I think that's part of what made our sound like so distinct when we were sort of coming up through the music scene. We just kind of did whatever we wanted, had like really weird ideas, and we'd just make it work somehow.
In that EP, Human Error EP, we recorded with no click. Like we just played it live.
That's sick though.
And recorded, and it's so like, obviously at the time we were like, this is music, like this is how it's gonna bond us together. But listening back, it's like, oh, we probably should have done a click track. But
I think
but
like
that was
so
just
many
for
ideas
jazz.
come out of like that type of thing. It's like, I always say this with me with production. It's like, I always say I'm not a producer, like I cannot produce, and like my friends are always like, you can, Chloe, you are, like, don't say you're not a producer because you can do it. And I'm like, it kind of is that thing where I'll make something on Ableton and then show a friend as a fucking joke because I think it's terrible because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, and they're like, yo, this is fire, and I'm like, haha, lol, like they're like, no, for real. And it had me thinking that like when you don't know what you're doing as much, you feel like what you're doing is just automatically trash because like you don't know what the real, you know. But it's funny how the minute you learn everything, like my friends who are like really good producers, it's crazy how they learn all the technical shit and they do it the right way for quite a while when they're learning, and you know, I got to be a producer, so it's got to be done this way, and then they get to a point that they're so confident in their knowledge and their ability that they start going back to the shit I'm doing. They start getting experimental because now they've learned everything
the right way.
They're like, okay, now fuck all that and let's do something rogue. And it's kind of like the shit that I'm doing now because I don't know, but I don't think it's that good because I don't have that confidence of knowledge knowing I know how to do it the right way, but I'm actively choosing not to.
Or kind
So
of
it's
like where your limits are as well. Sometimes it's like, if you know so much about it, you know what like your limit is or what the most minimal thing is.
Totally.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense.
It does, totally. And I think what I'm trying to remember now is like, if I like it,
It's good.
it's good.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be
Yeah.
this like complex thing. Oh, it's automatically bad because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Totally.
It's like, if I like this, it actually can be good because people could have made this who are really great producers and actively decided like, I'm going to fuck all rules and I'm going to do it this way because it sounds cool.
I used to find this hard because I think I used to be a bit more insecure, and I think I've seen the other side of it, have been like, it's not like this, so like it's not as cool. But like I feel like just coming to terms with the fact that like if it just makes you feel good, that's what it's supposed to be about. And like who cares how it's made, and like it might be really interesting if like you find out that it was made in this other really cool way, but like it doesn't make it other things bad and then other things good. It's like once you, I don't know, I always love meeting people who I think are really musically advanced and they have no judgment about like music. Like there's I'm like got someone in mind, they're just a freak guitarist and like really great songwriter, but we used to like just like sing over like Destiny's Child songs, and like they love just, if it's a good song, it's a good song. Like no matter who it is or like what kind of genre it is or like what kind of like skill level the musician's at. It's like I love that so much.
You were mentioning before we kind of started the podcast how there's all these different producers on this new mixtape. How did that all happen? Did you do that purposefully? Is that a word? Purposely? Was it intentional?
Yeah, so we'd worked with Harvey Sutherland as a producer before. So he produced Wonder, he engineered Soul Fruit, and he produced You'll Never Know for us. And so when we were writing these new demos, we had one that was Can't Start, and we were like, oh, we need Harvey on this one. But then we were writing all of these other ones, and we were just like, oh, like, actually, this person would be so sick. Like, I wonder if we asked, like, just what they would say. And yeah, then it kind of turned into us just experimenting with songwriting in like the dance and electronic genre. And then like every song would come out so different because we wouldn't go into it with an objective of what we wanted it to sound like. And so, yeah, like just taking each song as a singular entity and not thinking of it as a cohesive album that's like thematically linked. We would just, think of each song as something singular and be like, who was the best person that yeah, we would want to work on with this. We'll work with on this.
How did you find these producers? Like, are these people that you listen to all the time? Like, I always have this thing where it's like, I know a couple producers, but like, I don't know that many because like when I listen to music, it's usually the artist and usually there's a separate producer. And like, I don't really often like look at the song credits to see who it is and then hit that person up. Like, usually I come across a producer, I don't even know how, like, because like Kevin's been introduced to them and then started working with them and then I just meet them and we become friends and we do a session together. So I couldn't even imagine like having so many different producers on a mixtape because I don't even fucking know that many. Like I wouldn't even know who to reach out to. Hello, producers. Like, how did you know these people and existed to be able to like hit them up?
So originally we met Harvey at Big Sound in 2018, and then we also met Jack and Chloe from Sumner. So they produced Let Go for us. We met them at Big Sound in 2018 as well, and we've just like kept in contact, and they're really precious friends of ours. And then Skeleton we met through our management. Squidginini we just knew from like the Brisbane scene. Club Angel, we kind of met her through management. Yeah. Like she was just really excited about like his stuff. He hadn't released anything when we were doing the session with him. And yeah, she just sent us some of his demos and we were like, this is sick. Like I think you'd be really good on this one. And then Juno Mamba was just like a suggestion from our manager and was like, oh, maybe like he'd be good for MK Ultra. And yeah, we're having these Zoom sessions and he's just the nicest person ever. And so I'd go so far as to say we're friends now. Like we met him at Falls, we both played Falls.
Hell yeah.
And we kind of keep in touch on social media, and
Totally.
He's lovely.
How do you was the process for all the songs? It's obviously probably different for all of them, but do you get sent kind of like an instrumental and then it's like you guys record yourself? You write it yourself? Like, how was the process?
We had demoed out basically all of our tracks, like had put drums, synths, vocals, harmony, like basically had done everything for the song, but it was a bit rough. And so then we sent like the demoed stems to all these producers and was like, hey, here's our track. What do you think? Like, what do you want to add to it? And then each producer really had a different way they went about like molding the track, molding what we gave them, and or not using what we gave them and then sort of producing their own stuff. So there's definitely ones in there that you can tell our demo stuff was used because it's got that fuzzy pink matter sound. And then a lot of the other ones, it was just like, they had the creative freedom to just be like, oh, we'll take Kerry's vocals and melody and then we'll just build around it.
When did you guys start actually writing this mixtape? Like, how long did it take from like start to finish to have a full project that you put out?
You'll Never Know was definitely before everything. Sort of before COVID, and then once COVID hit, we just sort of bunkered down and started writing. So I think we would have had our first session for like the Gloss mixtape in March 2020. And it's just been released this year, 2023.
I find it hard to get like, especially working with so many different people. So many people to like line up to try and get something done at the same, to release at the same time. I mean, I do find I mainly work with like 1 to 2 producers. That is good for that because like it's not too many people have to liaise with, but it's also like one person doing all of these, which is a lot of workload for them, and they're also working with multiple artists, not just me. So it's like it takes longer because I got to wait for them to get one of them done before we can move on to the next. Where it's like having multiple people, they can all work on, but then also trying to get them all wrapped, and it's a lot of communication. Do you guys kind of leave a lot of that to your manager, or
like our manager definitely led the conversation, just because of like I think experience in the industry and like time dealing with producers as their own entity herself. And
sometimes being a manager, you're kind of coming from a different perspective. You're kind of coming from you can be a little bit more like, no, don't fuck with me. type. When you're the artist, you're a bit like, oh, don't fuck with me, but we need to finish the song. So like, this is a bit awkward now. So you're gonna, but if you have someone in the middle just being like, this is the thing, and then leave the art shit to be chill, that's kind of what's nice when you have someone that can do that.
For sure. And I think if you're like an artist that is self-managed, that's like looking to negotiate contracts, just like if you know anyone that's an artist, just ask to take them out for coffee and ask them any questions, or if they have any red flags that they normally look out for, and then get your contracts reviewed by a lawyer, no matter how small it is.
Yeah, did you have to get every contract for every producer reviewed by a lawyer?
We're still getting contracts signed, and the project is out.
Yeah. And like that in itself costs a lot of money to get lawyers involved, right? Like,
we haven't actually. Well, we've gotten a template. We've got like a contract template that we've been using for each artist, but then for each producer. But like some of the producers had their own template to give to us. So it really has been a case by case basis of, every single producer on the mixtape has a different fee, and they've had a different cut, and they've had a different songwriting cut of everything, and it's just been really just open. You have to have that open discussion beforehand. I feel like a couple of tracks we just went in and just started working, and then down the track, once the work has been done, it's just been like, oh, and here's the fee, and we're like, cool.
Shit,
I would have loved to know this beforehand. But like that's the stuff where you just live and you learn, and then you get it right the next time.
And sometimes it's hard to learn that lesson. Like I have had that happen to me maybe like 4 times now, because it's this thing where I'm like, I will learn that lesson, but then sometimes things just come about so organically that it never really intended it to even be anything, and now that it is, it's like, oh, okay, we actually have to look into payment now and things, and then things can get a little, and then when things get a bit businessy, people then start going, okay, well then if we're talking business, okay, well then if this is it, then this is my fee, and then it's like, okay, and it's like, damn it, I knew to have this conversation before doing this because I've learned this before, but this kind of didn't really happen the way that I could just be like, what's your fee? You know,
I think like at the end of the day, we just wanted to make sure that like everybody was feeling like they were getting what they need from us. Like producers that we had a really good personal relationship with heading into the sessions, like often it's like a very basic contract, no real lawyers needed, like it's all very chill and everyone's very upfront about stuff. So I feel like
it's probably because there's a level of trust, like you know each other.
And like that contact was definitely more direct to us. Like there's a lot of Instagram DMing. We just get them to email for like
anything really,
anything, like any files, like actual contracts and files and stuff, so that there's more of a paper trail. But a verbal agreement is just as good as a written agreement basically. So if you can just get everything that you've spoken about drawn up, whatever they want their fee to be, whether it's mates rates or not, that just needs to be in writing so that you're covered. But it was hard working with people that have a bigger sort of team and
there's like more people involved.
Because that can get quite messy.
Totally.
But there's also just such a level of trust between just doing things in the music industry. Like it is just so wild that we could start working with someone and then we just trust that like files will get sent or
that they won't screw us over,
or that they won't just use your stems for something else and you never know about it. Do you know what I mean?
Oh my god.
Well, like,
totally 100%.
I've thought about this. It's like
that was a surprise to me.
Well, you give them your stems, it's like half the time you don't know what they could be doing with it unless you would have literally be told. But if you're not, that's like, I mean, if they got court, then it's like, oh, I can fucking sue you, but I don't have any fucking money, and they probably know that.
Yeah.
So it's like, what am I
100%.
going to do when I get fucking rich and famous? I'm coming for you.
Yeah.
And that one song you put out that doesn't even have any streams, so it doesn't even matter. But do you know what I mean? So like, so much shit can be used, and it's like,
Yeah, it's just, and because we signed on with a record label for You'll Never Know for that release, and then all of the COVID craziness happened, and the actual label shut down. That was like our first taste of working with other people that weren't ourselves.
Yeah.
And that was really cool. It was really good. It was really like, it felt really fun to be able to be like, okay, we've got this project and we've got like a little team to like
Yeah.
put it together.
yeah.
But then, yeah, dealing with all the contracts and stuff for Gloss this time round with no record label, it's just been like, you just have to keep those email threads going. And
Yeah. I actually did want to talk about booking gigs. I know we briefly touched on you guys doing so many gigs early on, but you have also done like big shows, like festivals, big things, support slots, like some really decent support slots. And I actually am myself wanting to get a booking agent. I don't have one. I don't really know how to go about getting one. It's something I need to figure out.
Yeah.
But I thought if you had any knowledge on how to get a booking agent, if you have one, how to book gigs and how to get on like the sickest lineups ever. Give me some insight.
I definitely think booking agent is like booking agent for us came first before management.
Yes.
And I think that was really good for us.
That is what I want because I don't have anybody
yeah.
and I first want a booking agent.
Yeah, I think that's a really good way to go about it.
How did you go about getting a booking agent?
We played Big Sound in 2018. And our friend invited their friend along. And then their friend knew our now booking agent. And she was like, I saw this amazing band last night. Come get lunch with them. And then after that meeting, we had a booking agent.
Wow. Who is your booking agent?
Beck from Collective Artists.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I think with booking agents, you definitely want to get someone that either doesn't have another artist that's in your little pocket, like your little genre.
Yes.
So that you
Okay,
can be
interesting.
pitched as, because say they've got two girly pop artists and they're both pitching the one for one position of a support slot. Like you don't want to have to be competing with someone else.
Yeah.
For that,
on the
okay.
same
On that.
roster.
Because a part of me was like, maybe I look at this sounds so bad, but I was like, maybe I look at booking agents who like have artists on it that I would want to support, like bigger artists, so that when they're booking their headline show, they're looking for someone else that is under their same booking so they can make
Yep.
double the amount.
Yeah.
That is a good in.
It is a really good.
But then they
For
might be
sure.
too similar.
It's hard.
There's a balance.
Yeah.
I guess it depends what you mean by too similar. Like I guess
Do you want to know?
I don't know,
Of this one?
Maybe, yeah.
but yeah,
It looks
I
so
don't know.
cute.
It is so cute, the iridescent and the pink. Loving it. Okay, interesting. And so it was just you playing live and a booking agent coming and seeing you play
Yeah.
that got you a booking agent.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, am I doing up a live reel, like video and sending it?
I don't think there's any need for that. But if you do have video, you do have that one video of you singing on that rooftop, that one song live, right? I feel like I've seen that on Instagram and it's in my memory.
Oh,
Yeah, on like
singing
a
on
rooftop, car park.
I am.
Yeah.
It's a Billie Eilish cover.
Oh, okay. Like maybe just have that in the bank if they ask for something.
Okay.
But I think it's more about them seeing a live show. Like if
Because I was like,
there's-
maybe I need like a full crowd. Maybe I need to see I can sell out something or that people are coming to my show.
well, not necessarily because like you get new artists that are like, you know, they've been on the Sony development deal and they don't have any music out yet and they're booking these huge shows. Like, I think, I think the main thing that a booking agent would want to see is potential.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think Big Sound's a really good way to like meet all the people going. I think if you can keep an eye out on, like, because if you just feel stuck and you don't know of any companies that to reach out to, or you don't feel comfortable going to that step, like where there's a conference where you know everybody is there to meet people, like setting up meetings with booking agents, or for me that was a really good way to like figure out who's who in the zoo, like in terms of like the different companies as well. Like, because I just didn't know any companies before that.
Yeah, I definitely have done a bit of research. I've got like a little list on my computer. But I think I'm actually a bit scared of hitting them up for a little meeting at Big Sound, because like I'm not playing Big Sound.
Yeah.
But like I can still like maybe be like, we should get a drink.
Yep.
But like, how am
100%.
I starting the conversation? Because here's something that I get a little bit like stuck on. For example, I have an EP coming out. I've sent it to some A&Rs the other day. And at the end of the email, in my head, I'm like, what am I asking for?
Yeah.
What's the, like, hey, would love to hear your thoughts. And they're going to go, you're sending it to me for a fucking reason.
Yeah.
Where's the hidden agenda type? So in my head, I'm like, if I'm meeting with booking agents, my objective is obviously because like I eventually want a booking agent. But am I like stating that, or am I like, we're just catching up and we're getting to know each other? Or am I being like, look, I'm on the hunt for a booking agent.
What are you looking for to the booking agent?
See, I need these lines. I need literal feed me lines, you know?
But I also think, like, I don't know, I feel like everyone's different and we may individually have a different answer for this. But I would feel like getting an email, I wouldn't want to be sitting there guessing what the person is asking for.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, for me, I would want to know.
That's why I kind of like to be
catch
upfront.
up, like, just a hanging out, get to know each other at Big Sound. It's like, to me, I'd be like, let's just like cut the bullshit kind of thing. Like,
same.
Tell me what
like,
you want.
let's just get to the point. But I think it's like person to person. Some people might not vibe with that, but you just got to kind of risk it. I don't know. But I also think that, like, what is the harm in being like, look, I'm looking for an agent. You link all of your socials and your music and everything, and then just say, like, would you be down to meet with me? And then I think it doesn't waste anyone's time if there's like, oh, they just want to like make a friend in the industry.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I think if you sort of get that up front, then you don't get there and there's this weird awkward tension, or like you feel nervous because you feel like you have to propose something.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
feel-
And then, but then it's like you catch up and what are you actually saying? Hey, Lisa, so nice to meet you. Look, I'm going to get a half-strength lactose-free mocha. What did you want? And then it's like, yeah, so pretty much I have an EP coming out, or at this time it would have come out. My EP just came out. I'm playing a little tour, which I'm going to set up. That's great, actually. And then I'm going to say,
I'm in the market for a booking agent.
I'm looking for a booking agent. It's the next thing I want to get.
Yep.
And I wanted to have a convo. You're a booking agent.
Yeah.
See how awkward I am? That's what I'd be saying. You're a booking agent. So I thought
But I think it's
I'd reach
funny.
out and
I think because everyone's
I
at
think
Big
just
Sound
say
for a
like
reason.
I just thought I'd reach out, chat to you about your current roster, and then if they just politely say like, hey, sorry, we have no availability, just have a chat with them and then gear it towards what you could do to find a booking agent in the future elsewhere, because they'll definitely have advice on that and what they look for in artists.
okay, cool.
Yeah.
So then at least you're getting something out of it, and then you're still not wasting their time. Like, you're picking their brain about stuff.
Okay, because I feel like this stuff is like kind of the insight people want to know, like artists like listening in on the podcast, maybe not for just general listeners, but like other artists. It's good to know what we're fucking saying when we're hitting up these people and having a fucking meeting. Like, what am I asking for? What am I saying? What's awkward and what's not?
There is like a very fine line between like, because you want everybody you meet to have a good impression of you and be a friend, and even if they can't help you at the time, like, you still want them to be somebody that you can call on for in the future, and like vice versa if they ever need anything from you. And so yeah, it's about being clear, but you can be clear and still be friendly about it.
Totally.
Yeah, you
so
don't want to come across like you're kind of just like using and abusing.
Yeah, and it's like you do need to maintain a level of professionalism to give off the impression that you're reliable and that you're switched on. And I feel like as women, you do need to turn that up a bit more than if it were a man.
Okay, good to
doing
know,
it.
because I'm not good at that. Oh, I can be, but I need to know.
Yeah,
'Cause I
at the
can come
same
across-
time, like you don't want to be like a robot. Like you want to be someone memorable and nice and yeah. So it's like being yourself, but just don't mince words. Just be clear.
How much you're selling these polishes at on the tour? As much?
Yeah.
How much are they selling for? And what's the go for people who want to get some?
So we're selling the pack of 3 with the custom case for $50.
Hell yeah.
Had to like look back and just confirm that. Yeah, so $50.
Well, you'll find out when you're there on the tour. People who are attending the show, you'll see the pricing will be there.
Mm-hmm.
And
So-
then we've put them on Bandcamp too. So
Ooh.
if you want them and
If you can't come to a show, you can cop
you're
them on
from
Bandcamp.
Regional
Yeah.
New South Wales.
We only sell them in the 3-pack, but yeah, if you wanted to buy them separately from ice cream, I think you save money buying it in
As a
the
three
pack.
pack.
Yeah.
Amazing. So you can have all colors
And you get a cute little purse.
and a
So-
little purse that you can use for literally anything. Makeup, tampons.
Tampons, goated tampon
Yes,
purse.
and
yeah.
pads. Look at
gummy
that. That's a
mints
perfect
bag.
pad size.
Oh,
Overnight
perfect.
one.
Look at that.
Literally.
Any size pad. can
My
fit in there.
inners could go in there.
In is
Yeah.
What else?
drum keys.
I
could
reckon
fit.
you could fit a few dog biscuits in
Treats
there.
for your dog.
Yeah.
The little poop bag things.
Yeah.
Would also fit with next to the treats.
Yep.
Snacks for yourself.
Snacks.
Yeah.
Little lolly bag.
Yeah, popcorn if you
kids.
don't want to pay
If
for
anybody's
the.
got kids.
Yeah, if you wanted to just carry a couple of chopper chops around, they would fit
Yes.
in there as well.
Or just your cards.
Yeah,
Like we're going out on the town.
Would
We're
you-
not, it's a
Card
clutch.
wallet. Oh my god. The
Card wallet.
iridescence on a night out.
Yeah, people are
You'd
going to be
never
like,
lose it.
oh my God.
Yeah, you'd see it if you dropped it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I have a little segment on the podcast where we talk about embarrassing stories. It's called, you know, what's that song? I know I'm not the only. Okay, that's the segment. And I created it because I do so many fucked up things and I wanted to not feel like I was the only one.
Yeah.
And I feel like there needs to be a segment when people talk about like, not just an embarrassing story either, like proper fucked up, like stuff where you're just like, I'm going to pack my bag and move countries
And
now.
leave.
And
Yeah.
leave. I'm changing my name. I'm
Yeah.
so,
Feel the
it's not embarrassing like I fell over and whatever. It's embarrassing like I once paid someone $5 to produce a song because I thought that was okay. Something like that where you're just like, I'm mortified and I need to actually move countries and never see them. If they ever see them at a gig again, I'm leaving the venue.
I've got one that's not music related.
Go.
So I volunteered for the Commonwealth Games 3 years ago.
Okay.
Whenever they were held on the Gold Coast, I was a volunteer driver. So I would drive the athletes or like the delegates from their like hotel to the venues. And like the Commonwealth Games gave us a bunch of cars and you'd like rock up to the depot, you'd get your car for the day and you'd just drive around. They'd tell you where to go. And so it was like my second last volunteer shift and all the shifts so far had been really good. I'd waited at hotels, driven them to the fields, and like the lovely delegates give you little pins as like a thank you for letting us be in your country, whatever. We had these assigned phones, which were like how you would get the call of like where to go, and you'd use the GPS on the phone. But because it was like a mass depot drum thing, car thing, you like all these phones were like the Nokia bad, slow,
Right.
old little phones you had to use, right? And so I get the call. I was sitting at like the Hilton car park on the Gold Coast and I had to drive this couple. I got a phone call and I was like, we've got this British delegate. They're staying at the hotel. They need to be driven to the Brisbane airport. I know your shift's about to end, but can you do that hour drive up to Brisbane and then back to drop the car off and then drive back to Brisbane, which is where I was living. So I was like, yeah, it's fine. I've got nothing else on. And so I like pull out of the little car park that I was parked in, drive up to the hotel, and these lovely 2 old people jump in the car and they're sitting in the back. And I put the Brisbane airport address into my little issued phone, and it's loading, but it's really slow, and like we're just sitting there at the hotel and like we're not driving, and I'm just like waiting for this to load to tell me where to go, because I don't really know the Gold Coast that well, so I was just relying on this GPS. Anyway, I get too impatient and I'm like, okay, yep, everyone's good, seatbelts on, all right, let's go. And so I'm driving out of this hotel, and there's like a left and a right turn, but I didn't know which one it was because my little GPS hadn't loaded yet, and my gut was saying go left. And so I was like, I'll go left. I hit the indicator, turned left, and then as soon as I turned left, it loaded and it was like, you need to turn right. And I was like, okay, cool. It'll recalculate and we'll be able to get to the Brisbane airport. Anyway, it didn't recalculate because it was so bad and old. So I probably drove for about 15 minutes down this road, and at some point I'm looking to do a U-turn, but because I'm in a Commonwealth Games car with like Commonwealth Games all over the side of it, I can't do an illegal U-turn. Like it has to be a proper drive turnaround, and there's nowhere for me to turn around on this strip. Anyway, so I keep driving, and I just see like this set of lights. It says U-turn not allowed. Anyway, I did a U-turn, turned around, and I was back on track. And I was like, good to go. We're back on track, and we're driving across this bridge, and the guy in the back goes, oh, didn't we just come this way? And I've seen that building before. And I was like, yep.
Shut up, backseat driver. Oh my God, that's peak stress.
We're just doing the scenic tour. Like I was just showing around the Gold Coast for the last time or whatever, making up some story. And then
you literally were like, oh no, I was just giving you a tour.
Yeah. This is just a test and you passed.
No, like just imagine that you're sitting in a car, someone's driving you to the airport, and you say, you can tell, you wouldn't say that if you couldn't tell they were lost. You say, didn't we just drive past it? And they say, oh, I just thought I'd give you a tour.
How bad does that sound, right? Anyway, so
you know in the backseat you're like, she has no idea where she's going.
Anyway, for the next hour to Brisbane, we sat in silence.
Okay, wait, at what point did you stop and go, I'm going to try and figure it out on the GPS without giving away that I am lost?
Oh, I knew I was lost because it kept being like, turn around.
But
it wasn't saying it. I could just see it like trying to
Yeah, so when did you
out.
think, I'm going to pull over and actually get it up again?
No, as soon as I turned left, I knew it was the wrong turn. But my gut is usually pretty good. And for that one moment in time, it was wrong. Anyway, so I did the whole turnaround, and then we had to drive an hour to Brisbane in silence. I didn't even have the radio on. It was just deathly quiet in the car, and they didn't speak a word to each other the whole ride either.
Because they were texting each other saying,
probably.
This person has no idea. Like, that's why there was no conversation. There was conversation, just you couldn't hear it.
That was like the most where I wanted to just slither into the ground and die. But we got to Brisbane, and I pulled up and I was like, yes, the airport's here. Great. Get them out of the car. And I pull up to like the top, like international departures where you drop off the people. And they're like, I don't know how, like they're older people. So you'd think they'd kind of know what to do at an airport. But they jumped out of the car and they just could have sort of stood there. And I was like, oh, yep, you just sort of head in the doors and you find the carrier who's taking you the plane or whatever. And they were just like, oh, okay, all right. Anyway, so they just walk in, and I'm just like, quick, get out, get away from this situation. Anyway, I drive down the little part of the airport, like that bridge bit, and I get down a bit, and this Commonwealth Games person flags me down. And I'm like, oh, okay, like I'll have a chat. Wind down the window, and he goes, oh, where is so-and-so and so-and-so from Great Britain? And I was like, yeah, I just dropped them at the top. And he was like, oh, actually, they're supposed to come through this delegate pathway down here. And I was like, oh, well, they're in the airport somewhere. Oh my God. So sorry. And he's like, okay, no worries, I'll go find them. So then I just yeet out of there, and I drive back to the Gold Coast.
You're like, I am moving countries and changing my name never to be seen again.
So
do you know
bad.
who they were? Like, they were obviously,
they were dressed
they
very
known?
well, and they had a British accent when I said goodbye.
Did you like do some Googling when you got home to figure out who they
Queen.
were? Yeah.
No, I had to I had to just disassociate.
You just
couldn't-
went,
Yeah, it
I
was
never
so
am
bad.
finding out who they are because it's going to make it worse. I'm pretending it never happened. It's
Yeah.
erased from my memory. The end.
I was like, I'm never volunteering again ever.
That is exactly the story that I wanted on this podcast. It's that type of story that you're just like,
I think you've told us that before.
No.
It lives with me every day.
Press that one because I thought you were going to say you picked up the wrong couple. That would have been insane.
Oh, it was just so awkward. I hate like awkward silences too, but it was for like a full hour. Anyway, that's my story. I was too nervous. I was like, because I was like, they're obviously judging me on my driving now that they know we've gone the wrong way. So I can't take my hand off the steering wheel to turn the radio on. Like I've got to be
God, that's funny.
expert driver.
I've had so many like crawl in a hole embarrassing moments, but this one was like in a room full of people. But what's it called? We supported Years and Years. It was at Fortitude Music Hall. Like they have like die-hard fans, like the ultimate die-hard fans.
Like we were tagged in a Years and Years fan page
Yeah.
of someone that was
Wow.
there
Like-
to like
So
Yeah.
intense.
wow, okay. So,
So
they're
people
like
were,
really
like-
getting around it.
Yeah, so people were like there. So there was a decent crowd for like the support.
yeah.
So I'm on stage and like I'd been really, really sick. I'd been like the past 4 days in bed and like, yeah, really sick. And I was just so out of it. And then I like forgot to put my mic pack on. So I was like, right before we got on. So I was like, shit, oh my God, I need to put this on right now. And then I was like super frazzled. So I got on stage and I didn't have like my ears in. So I was like, oh, I need to awkwardly do this on stage. And like in my brain, I was freaking out. So I was just like really frazzled. And then I was like, we played the first song and I was like, I'm always really nervous in the first song, like shaking nervous.
The voice is doing its
Yeah,
thing where
the
it
vo-
just kind of goes on its own tangent.
Literally.
And you're
every
like, I
time.
don't control you anymore, apparently.
Yeah, literally. And then I was like, hey, we're Pink Matter, like so exciting, and like everyone was super lovely. And then I was like so excited to be here supporting the Yeah Yeah Yeahs. And people were
Silence.
like, it was like silence, and people were like, what? And I was just like, oh my God, like. Because when I feel something, I can't like hide it. Like usually, like maybe if I hit a wrong note on the stage, I'll be like, "Oh, never mind," like look the other way. But like this, I just like immediately reacted. I was like, "Oh my God!" I was like, "Oh, that's bad," and I was just like, I can't remember what I said. I just like.
I feel like you're
fumbled.
like, oh, that's a test and you all pass or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I was
It's
like
giving
backpedaling
Kendall Jenner
so
introducing
hard.
Five Sauce.
Oh my
Literally, it was
God.
like so cringeworthy. And like I had some friends in the audience that were like there to see Years and Years, and like afterwards they were just like, no, it's so fine, like it was so fun, it was just funny, like you recovered well. And I was like, no, nothing you can say.
We'll make this better. I'm
Yeah.
actually, my bags are packed, never
Yeah,
to be seen again.
Literally, like I struggled to sleep that night. Like
Yeah.
it was so bad.
And the best thing about the story is up in the on the side stage, up if you know the Fortitude Music Hall, there's like a little gallery where you can view from the green room. The band was
I'm
up there
getting
watching
PTSD,
our set.
and like
yeah.
Years and Years was there, like Ollie the guy, he was there.
But we met him afterwards and he was very nice.
He was so nice.
Yeah.
They
But
thought
I
it
was
was
just
funny.
like, they thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
I think that is funny.
And I could hear them laughing, and I was like, I just wanted to. I honestly, the whole set in my head, I was like,
You
fucked
can't-
it.
yeah, all
I was
you
like,
think about is
fucked
that
it,
moment.
literally. And I was just like, get on with the show.
Yes.
And I was like,
I remember is that.
and because like they were diehard fans, like there to see who they want to see, and I just like said it doesn't even sound like the name, and like oh man,
No, I
in
can
my
totally
brain-
see how that would like.
It's similar.
It's so similar.
Yeah.
There's a
And
lot
you
of the
were
same letters
so
in that.
Sick.
I was very sick.
You were so sick. Like, I'm not surprised that your brain made a connection like
Yeah.
that.
I was going to ask about how you got a manager and how you, because I'm interested in that too. I don't have a manager, so like I find that interesting.
Our
I know you
manager
switched
journey was
manager.
quite long.
Our first, we were hunting for a while.
Yeah, we were self-managed for ages, and we had a couple of offers that we turned down.
Where did you get these offers from? I've never had an offer.
People just slid in to our DMs or emails.
And they say, we want to manage you.
Or they're like, what are you looking for? Would you
let's
be
have
interested?
a meeting.
Let's have a chat,
Or
kind
in
of
person.
thing.
And are they solely a manager, or are they like, I have a fuck ton of PR companies that slide into my emails? And I'm just assuming that's normal spam.
Yeah,
I barely
PR
reply to
companies
most
are
of them.
spam.
They're spam.
Yeah.
But I've never
No
had a
offense.
direct... No, that's what I've clocked spam.
Yeah.
I don't reply.
Yeah.
Because I've replied to 3 and fucked them off after way too long. And then been like, PR companies, fuck off.
They just want to make money.
They just want to make money. I'm not here for it.
Yeah.
But I've never had someone slide in as like, I'm a manager.
Yeah.
I'm interested in managing. What are you looking for? So that's kind of how it happens. Well, not always, but for you.
Yeah, so we had this one memorable meeting back in, it would have been 2018, just after we'd put out Human Error. And this dude, like this old white industry dude, like sits us down, and he has like a pretty, I'm not gonna like name names,
You can't.
but he had like a pretty good roster. And so we're like, oh, we'll meet with him, that's pretty exciting. And then he just sat down, had this fucking slimy vibe about him, and he was like, we all know what the best song on the EP is, say it with me, Cleo. And we were like,
literally said that.
we were like,
We don't read minds. Sorry, maybe tell me what you think is okay.
Yeah, cool. Like, glad that you hated the rest of the EP. And he was like, yeah, if you could just make every song like Cleo, like there'd be a real market for you. And we were just like, shut up, dude.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of that vibe to start with. And then we were at Big Sound one year, and we were just, is someone's phone ringing? No, I'm imagining things.
You're losing it.
I'm losing it.
Losing it. Copyright.
Yeah, we were at Big Sound, and we were just meeting with a bunch of different management companies. So we had a list like you do with your booking agents.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we were just asking to meet for coffee.
And is it like, okay, when I'm looking at managers, I think this is a red flag of mine. I definitely type in, for example, Triple J every year do like who was ranked the best manager.
Yeah.
I go to the top.
Yeah.
Who's the best? I
Work
want
backwards. Yeah.
I don't go to like who's managing smaller local artists. I'm going big.
Yeah.
And I feel like I haven't even looked at who's managing local artists.
I think you have
You
to go
gotta aim
big.
high.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Why not?
So maybe that's not that toxic. I'm
Who's
thinking,
stopping
I don't
you?
know any of
It's
the
not.
smaller.
It's not toxic.
Yeah.
You just want the best for yourself.
Yeah, I want
Yeah.
the best manager.
Yeah.
How did you come up with like before you got so the manager currently is doing the contract type conversations. How did you and the manager come to a contract negotiation before then they took on that role?
Basically,
Contract.
industry standard is 20%, but
Yeah.
then what they take 20% from is different.
Okay.
So some managers will want 20% of your merch. They will
Oh,
want
okay.
20% of your APRA. They will want 20% across the board. Usually the manager hits you with a contract, and then you just look it over and see what you're okay with. If there's anything you need to ask them about, you just have a discussion there, edit the contract, send it back, and then back and forth from there.
Do you find it easier being in a band in terms of having more people to distribute
Jobs.
jobs to? Or is it actually not as easy as that?
It's not as easy as that because everybody has their own skill set. So not everybody is going to be best suited to every job. Like if I was doing the accounts, it would be shambles.
Who does the accounts?
I love a good spreadsheet.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say it's Libya's.
But it's definitely easier in a band because you've got 3 brains to bounce ideas around. Whereas if like a solo artist would be a lot a lot more things to think about for sure.
You know what else I just want to say, which is why I wish I started a band instead of did my own thing? Having a band. Imagine just having a band and being like, so we're just going to split everything evenly all the time. Oh, the luxury. Fuck. I wish I was smart enough to do that when I started.
But in saying that, like, we really struck gold on this band dynamic. But
I was going to say
there
that
are
it's-
some horror stories.
Yes. And the fact you guys are still together.
We definitely have those conversations, those existential conversations where it's like, should we do this music thing anymore? Like, should we go get a real job?
Yeah.
And then we're all like, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things where like 10 years down the track and like you can just like the royalties just will keep coming. And it's like just this little passive income thing that when we're 80 years old,
we won't need the pension.
it will, Gyro Stream will just pay all the bills.
Yeah.
But also like it's not, I don't know, it doesn't feel like work when we're doing Pink Matter stuff.
Totally.
Like compared to like the actual day job type of vibe.
100%.
Yeah.
So it'll just be a massive bonus when we can pay the bills
Totally.
through music.
The nails are done.
Look at these nails. Thank you, ice cream nails.
We had fun with them today.
Yay.
And we got creative. And
So we've got the black with the shine and we've got the pink with the shine.
the pink with the shine over the top.
Although the black doesn't look very black in this light.
No, but it's giving galaxy.
Yeah.
Ooh,
And I'm living for
Like
the
a
galaxy.
dark blue.
love.
Thanks for coming on my podcast.
Thanks
Thanks for having us,
Thanks for
honestly.
having us.
This nail collab is iconic.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love the new mixtape.
Thank
And
you.
I'm going to add it to my US playlist. I'm going to edit this podcast on the flight over.
Your 26-hour flight.
Cool.
So it's going to be my vibes for the trip.
Nice.
I will be in the States for your show, so I don't get to come.
It's okay.
Devo.
It's okay.
But
They're
you're
in
going to be
spirit.
in America.
Yeah, you're gonna be America.
I'm going to America.
Yeah, you're gonna have the best time.
Playing your
Hell
songs
yeah.
over there in my little high car.
Sick.
Driving around LA.
Driving on the wrong side of the
fun.
road.
Driving on... Don't mind me, I'm
Ooh.
sorry. Sharon doesn't drive, so it'll be me.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Get tickets for the show and for the tour. Get your hands on some ice cream nail polishes in collaboration with Pink Matter. And go stream Gloss.
Yay.
Thanks, Chloe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're the best.
Do you have an outro?
If you would like to keep up to date with the podcasts and guests I have coming up, you can follow the Instagram page at canwebefriends.podcast. I'm on TikTok, CWBF podcast. It's new, it's fresh. Go check a follow. If you would like to check out my artist page, you can find me at walta.music and Walta Rockstar on TikTok.
And to catch Pink Matter, it's at Pink Matter Band on Instagram.
We'll also be on YouTube with a little video of the nails. So if you want to watch some nails get done while we chat, you know where to go. See you next time. Bye.